Well, hello everyone. Here to show you the history arts. Eiffel Tower and the Eiffel Tower. Coloring right here is talking about is like the Eiffel Tower, and that it's like get that Paris, France is, and right here is you get the details from the construction of it, and then along with the floors, and then along with the height, and then along with the number. It's like the elevators, and then the floor counts, and then so far as 3,000. 605, say 65 so millimeters, and it'll be about 986 or so feet, with the including with the roof, and then along with the 896 feet for floors, and then along with the antenna. But of course what I had drawn right here, of course, which most of us here have maybe seen pictures of, say, the Eiffel Tower, and then along with pictures or articles about it, maybe in the papers or whatever you call it. But if anybody maybe think about is if you were to draw it, like on paper, like which whenever I was in school, that I really never really did any type of history, that I know of, that that I can remember, that I never did any type of research about the Eiffel Tower. And so far as the Eiffel Tower is go ahead and work with right here is like say the thin point, say marker, but go ahead and just add just a little bit of a line, to say the line design, say for the tower right here. And of course, with most of us here that you have seen it before, that you see that like the way that the lines are the way that the lines, I would say that the lines, like the steel, and the steel lineups that support the level of the tower right here. But let's just say that add a little bit of detail as from this angle right here, that most of us that would have seen or heard about the tower, the Eiffel Tower, that it would have like four, I think 3 or 4 different sides. You're facing, you say north, south, or east or west, you say, and then of course, with the from this angle, which I think that would be from this angle right here, I think would be north or something like that, northeast or something like that. And then along here you got like this little triangle type shape, and along the straight point, say that type of a shape. But of course is go ahead and I'm gonna go ahead and add a little bit of detail, which most of us here, if you've seen pictures of what the Eiffel Tower looks like at night, that a lot of times you see just a little, the color is like you got the yellow. A lot of times it's like yellow. At nighttime you see that it's like a yellow type color at nighttime. And then I go ahead and add just a little bit of purple right here. For that, it's like you got the center, I guess you could call it the center colonel, or it's like just part of the center of the tower right here. And then just add a little bit of detail right here. It's like for the outer part of the drawing. It's like for the tower, and then of course just add a little bit of detail right there. But of course that what I've seen before is that with the detail about the tower right here, you get the top of the roof right here, and with the top of the roof right there is I'm going to go ahead and add some details about more likely about what it looks like at nighttime. That whenever it's night outside, that a lot of times that there's like a little strobe. I think a strobe light on the top, and I'm going to go ahead and try to draw it out here. Try to draw it in there. It's like a little strobe light. And with the strobe light right here, if it represents that, I guess it's kind of like a light tower, that any aircrafts or whatever you call it, any airplanes that could be flying around that area, more likely, I guess it represents, it's like just it's like a night, say, just to let the other aircrafts, you say other air carriers know that of course that the tower is there, and then of course it's like it's just to kind of give it like a little nighttime glow type look. But you got the light right there, And then of course, as add the detail, right, a little bit detail right here for the top of the tower. But of course, that I have never seen it in real life. I just seen the photographs. So whatever colors, that of course I'm just working with what I have available right here, and then of course about what looks good, and of course is add just a little bit of blue. So I add just a little bit of blue right here for the tower, and of course this the robin's robin's egg blue. I guess that's what it says on here. The robin's egg blue. And I'm like, I didn't even know that was really a color. I would maybe think that would be more of a name for like an Easter egg coloring kit, you say, or something like that. But you got the top of the tower right there, and then of course is to maybe add just a little bit Easter egg color robin coloring, color a little bit of coloring right here. But basically, you got that right here. You got the Alpha Tower. You got the scene right there for the nighttime view, and then go ahead and add just a little bit of brown right here. And of course, it just looks like brown. It could be another, I think Supeda. I think it's Supeda is his name of the color, which I guess it's kind of related to like a brown type color. But you got Supeda. And then, of course, with the design right here. But of course, what I have just talked about right here is like with the calculator, which most of us probably think that with math, that math was quite, I guess, was easy there at times, and then it got complicated. But I would probably say that with the study about the Alpha Tower, and then of course with these measuring tools right here, so far as related to the math study. And then, of course, I don't even know the name of all of them, but like with the levels, the level tools and stuff like that. But if you were to think about, is that I was just thinking that when that math was never really my favorite subject, of course, and then of course that with most of us would probably think that with math that they just do it for a grade or something like that, or they just they try to understand it, but then it's harder to understand it. But then of course that I would think that making math a little bit more interesting is maybe just using that type of math type skill to be able to understand a little bit about history, and then maybe read about other subjects that we could probably say that I don't know if Alpha Tower got shaped by the thumb up, or not by the middle finger either. I don't think it got its name from that. It looks the shape of it. The shape of it looks like somebody used cut all the branches off of a tall tree, and then they just mounted like what you call twigs right on the stumps the sides of the tree. But just whatever. However they got that design from, but my best guess is it was a design that that came from like which says that that certain type of for the architects, you say, is that the architecture, and for the design of what it represents is like for the location that it is in, and of course January and February from the completion, and then whenever it started 1887 it was. But and then you got the details right here of the yard, right here. But basically, it's for the architect, is you get the architect's name. It's like engineer Marisa Corcoran. It's like the Corcoran, and Emily Delvester, say, and then of course the other details about the history about the construction of the tower, and of course you got the measuring the shapes, but basically is that that if you could maybe do research about it, then that maybe you can think of is that one thing that is kind of interesting to know about is like how it was built, and that maybe a few of us may even say that they really don't care too much about who built it or whatever, just it's there or something like that. But then on the other hand too, that that is like with the construction, though. Of course, it would be about over 100 years old, about now. So I would say that a lot of people would probably are wondering about the construction of it, and then who